you're up for it. Are you up for it?
I think so.
All right, fire away, man.
Welcome to BeerAmerica.tv. I'm John Pinkerton here with
Paul Leone. Welcome. Yeah, at the Moon River Brewing Company, by the way, in Savannah, Georgia, drinking.
Back in the old homestead here.
Yeah, which is great. This feels much better than our other location for things that I will not go into. But it's all good. It's okay.
No subtext there.
Hills and valleys. Hills and valleys. Anyway, we like to. Most of you who know us, we're always sampling, beers from all around the country, and John and I want to do a series of videos talking about beer topics, things that we just talk about off the cuff. For instance, we hadn't planned on talking about this beer topic, but when I said, John, what do you think about this? And you felt very passionately about that, I'm like, that's a beer topic, so let's talk about it.
All right.
So what are we talking about?
So just generally speaking, we're going to talk about growlers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, here in the state of Georgia, we've got our own growler issues, and I don't want to get too specific about, this state issue or that state issue. Obviously, every state is different in terms of how they govern these things, these regulated industries. But in a greater sense, we kind of wanted to touch on how growlers are reaching our consumers. What are some of the potential issues there? And
I would venture to guess that a lot of people watching this in various parts of the country might not even know what a growler is. And,
that's a good place to start. So
yeah,
what the hell is a growler?
Well, I know. I learned what a growler was when I lived in Maryland. And I would go to a brew pub just like this that was close by. And I was able to take this sealable glass bottle that was about this big. I don't know how much it holds, but probably...
They range anywhere from 2 liters to a half gallon, which is a splitting hairs there. But
the beauty of it is that they didn't bottle beers, they didn't can beers, and I had to go there. Well, I could fill up a growler, have them fill up a growler, very reasonably priced, take it home and put it in my fridge, and for a couple of days it would be great. It would hold up.
Typically speaking, what we're talking about is literally filling it from the tap.
Right from the tap, exactly right. And I could take it home with me and drink it at home, whenever I want, within probably, I think, 3 to 4 days, probably good shelf life on those things, depending on how sealable tight the cap is. But that's basically a growler.
So let's talk about the issues. Well, what's of concern to a brewer, and what's of concern to the consumer?
You brought up an issue that I didn't know about. Here in Georgia, which is a new thing, you can go to like one of the convenience stores here and just take a tap and fill it up. You mentioned a word that I was not familiar with called randalizing. Yeah,
so another one of Sam Calgione's great innovations was the concept of randalizing, or using an implement that they called Randall the Enamel. And the idea is that they took sort of a water filter housing, like a household water filter housing, like acrylic housing or something,
right,
and packed it full of hops, and then ran the beer through it as sort of a last kind of point of use way to add additional flavor to the beer, which in and of itself is a cool idea,
sure,
a neat way to infuse additional flavors into a beer. Having said that, what we've seen in a couple situations is where bottle shops that are doing growler fill stations have actually taken brands of beer and added this randalizing component where they're adding more hops or spices or whatever as they pour to the growlers. And I'm not pointing fingers here. I don't know a lot of the details, whether it was a sanctioned thing or not.
Right.
But as a brewer, my concern is this: if you're taking my beer and then changing it before it hits the consumer, I've got a huge problem with that. If it is something that you and I work out, the retailer and the brewer work out, I think it's great. So, we get together and say, hey, what do you think about doing this? And we come up with a concept, we come up with a plan of action, how we're going to execute it. We both feel good about the standard or the process. That's fine, that's great. But my fear is that there may be this sort of cavalier sense of like, well, it's my beer now and I'm selling it.
Yeah, I bought it.
And I just have a huge problem with that. While once the beer leaves my brewery and it goes to the wholesaler, the beer itself is no longer mine. I don't possess it anymore, but the brand is mine from start to finish. So, I think we're into some pretty murky waters with that concept there.
Yeah, I had not heard of this before until you just mentioned it off camera, and I could see where you'd have a problem with that, and I could see where an uneducated consumer would be like, oh, I love John's IPA, but Richard would taste even better if I hopped it up even more, And so they're thinking about it not the same way that you are, but you had a soup analogy, you know, your favorite tomato soup.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't take Campbell's tomato soup and spice it up yourself and then resell it as Campbell soup.
Right.
You know, I mean, I suppose in a restaurant setting you might buy a pre-made product. You know, like you might buy Heinz 57 ketchup and spice it up a little bit and then sell that as, you know, your own ketchup. But that's in a restaurant setting,
right?
Where the expectation is that you're taking something and preparing it and serving it, and it's also not directly associated with a brand like that. So, again, I'm not trying to point any fingers. I'm not really trying to stir things up, but I think it's an interesting topic that I'm sure we'll hear some comments about.
Yeah,
I hope we'll
absolutely.
Hear some comments
So leave us comments about it. If you've seen this before, if you've done this before, or don't even know what Growlers are, just leave us some comments about it. Right? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Paul at BeerAmerica.tv.
Pink at BeerAmerica.tv.
We love it. Like us on Facebook page too, please. We had to clear out some Facebook stuff, and I should go like that. Like us on Facebook, and we had to clear out a couple of pages that were conflicting. And now we have one page, but when you clear out a page on Facebook, you clear out all the likes that go with it. There are no transferring likes over. So we're almost starting over.
Oh dear.
Yes, it kind of sucks. So really nobody likes us right now, and I'm feeling kind of guilty or bad about it. But go in there and like us. I'd appreciate it a ton.
Feel a hug coming on.
I don't know. Maybe more. Cheers.
Bing.